everybody, it's Nick on the Get Me Off Grid video blog. Not a lot to report, still doing the same thing. It's got some heat retention rice going. I'm finding the use of, and this is really rather ironic, okay? Because the wide neck vacuum flask way of cooking rice is a form of slow cooking. It doesn't really matter if I overdo it or if I underdo it. It's actually slightly more convenient than when I'm cooking with the electric steamer. With the electric steamer, the rice is going to be done after 20 minutes. Okay, I boil a kettle, I put the hot water into a plastic container containing the rice, I put that into the electric steamer, put the lid on, and turn the dial for 20 minutes, and at 20 minutes, bam, that's when the rice is going to be done, and by then, I've got to have the vegetables and everything else done and ready and complete, okay? So the quantity of energy it takes is the quantity of energy it takes to firstly boil water, and secondly to run the steamer. And on top of that, everything has to be ready at just the right time. The rice has got to be done at the same time as the vegetables and or lentils and or sauce and or whatever it is I'm putting together. With the wide neck vacuum flask, I get everything else ready and then I just open up the wide neck vacuum flask and then the rice will be done or done to a reasonable satisfaction for me to be able to eat my meal no matter what. So it uses up less power. And in reality, so long as I set it up in time, it's actually more convenient. Okay, I'm using a off-grid technology, which, if I get my act together, is more convenient than using the regular on-grid technology. That's something to think about. If you get practiced in it, do it. You know, it's great. What else can I show you? Not a lot else. What I can do is tell you what I've been reading, which is a book called Why Your World is About to Get a Lot Smaller, by I think his name is Jeff Rubin. And the book is about peak oil, and it talks about some of the reasons why I'm doing this particular video blog. Because of the price of oil, which is, according to Jeff Rubin, the cause of a lot of recessions. The global production of oil has slowed down since 2005, and the point whereby we're about to hit the downward slope of peak oil, globally speaking, not locally, but globally, could be any year. And when that happens, there will have to be a dramatic change in the way we do things. The way that, I mean, I'm only like about a quarter of the way through the book so far, so don't quote me or anything. What he appears to be saying is that this is going to spell the end of the previous globalist or globalized world, world that we've been living in, whereby you can just get everything from all over the world and buy vegetables and fruits in any season whatsoever. So we'll be moving to a world whereby you'll be working locally, you won't be driving, or if you do drive, it'll be very infrequently. There'll be much more in the way of electric transport. We'll be walking an awful lot more, and we'll be being a part of our local communities much more. The fruit and vegetables we'll be buying will be whatever is in season locally, and so on and so forth. So it's a move towards localism rather than globalism as a result of fluctuations in the oil price. Jeff Rubin also said something interesting about the fact that the oil price will have to be high and have to remain high, ironically causing possibly global economic stagnation in order to maintain the profitability of the more expensive to extract oil sources, such as the bitumen-rich coal tar sands in Canada, if I remember correctly, which is a source of oil, but unfortunately there's only one way to make it economically viable, and that is to have a high oil price, whether that is artificially so, or whether that is as a result of market forces. Apparently the economist model, or a economist model, is that natural resources will carry on being produced no matter what, and that will follow the curve of demand. But in reality, that's not the case, because we're dealing with a finite resource, and a finite resource which is costing more money to extract from the ground, and it's going to cost more money to refine. The Gulf of Mexico has had problems with a few storms recently, as I'm sure you're aware. Katrina, Rita, I think those were two of them. And that has increased the cost of refining the fuel into the more usable gasoline or petrol that people have been using, and of course diesel fuel as well. That then increases the cost of transportation, which increases the cost of food, as well as everything else that you buy, absolutely everything else, because there's an energy cost for everything. And that's, he ties in absolutely everything that you own and everything that you do and everything that, we have in our society to an energy cost. And therefore, that's one of the things that makes life a lot harder. So I think he hasn't talked about renewable energy yet, but I think we can extrapolate that one of the reasons that the world is moving so far towards renewables is not just because of environmental concerns, although that is, a key selling point. But it's because the way that we live in it, rests upon energy and energy costs. And if the quantity and quality of energy that we're able to get is going down, we need to find ways of sort of like supplementing it somehow. I mean, as I'm sure you know if you're following this particular video blog, I've been experimenting with distillation of alcohol. Remember, I'm in the UK. Alright, is it actually, safe or sane to give people in the UK the right to be able to distill their own alcohol? Well, it's obviously very dangerous because this is a nation of practicing alcoholics. But the imperative for people to find new ways of using energy, or indeed to take the energy that they're taking out of the mains and use it in a more efficient manner, is obviously a stronger one than to try and get everybody clean, healthy, and sober. That's the way I see it anyway. There could be all kinds of other motives and reasons for that, but that's my interpretation and take upon the whole thing. So anyway, that's what I've got for you today. This is day 5. I promised that I would do this for a whole week, and that's what I'm going to do. So after today, there's 2 more days of this particular experiment, stroke experience, and see where we can, where we can go from there. What I've learned from it. It is interesting that I've decided that using these wide mouth vacuum flasks is actually more convenient than doing normal cooking when we're talking about rice anyway. So there we go. Look after yourself. Links down below. If you can help me to take this on to a bigger and better level, then that would be tremendous. I'm relying upon your help to do so. I'll speak to you soon.